Find a nice tall seat. Close your eyes, please. Allow the spine to grow nice and tall. And let's lift the shoulders up towards your ears, bring them back, and exhale them onto the back. Do that one shoulder at a time. Lift one shoulder up, bring it back and onto the back. And the other shoulder, lift it up, back and onto the back. And then both shoulders shrug up, back, and soften onto the back. Slide the corners of your neck back, stacking your head right over your heart. And I'm turning my palms down here on my knees, but I want you to make a choice that feels just right. And as we arrive here, let's start by bringing your attention to the sounds around you. I have my door a little open, so I hear the birds outside. You might notice the sound of your space. Maybe there's a clock ticking on the wall. What does the air feel like on your skin? And notice your skin. What would it feel like to begin to blur your edges? And then bring your attention to your heart as it beats. You might even rest your hands there a little bit to the left of your heart center, really your true heart. So perhaps stacking palms really at your true heart center. Maybe noticing your heart beating under your hands. And perhaps beginning to syncopate your breath to the sound of your heart as it beats. You might even inhale to 5 heartbeats and exhale to 5 heartbeats. But honor what feels good in this moment. Take a few more breaths here. Sliding your hands to your heart center. And from your heart, calling upon your heartfelt intention, dedication, or prayer for your practice, your day, or out into the world. And we'll sing the sound of Om one time together. First a breath, take a nice inhale. And let it go, exhale. Inhale. Bowing your thinking mind to your heart. Well, keep the hands where they are. Float your chin parallel to the earth. Blink your eyes to open. And we'll stretch out the arms like you're going to give your room a great big hug. Take a nice inhale here. As you exhale, hinge over to the right. Plant that right hand down. And as your right hand roots down, reach longer in the opposite direction. Broaden your collarbones. Maybe the shoulder blades draw a little bit towards one another. Head stays in line with your heart. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, bring that arm back just a little bit. See how that feels. If it feels too much, keep it lifting up. Totally fine. You might even roll the gaze down here. You might stay here or slide that arm back a little bit more towards the back left corner of your yoga mat. Keep the front of the shoulder rolling towards the back of the shoulder. You might even play a little bit with the rotation of that left arm bone. Just an option. You might stay right here, or we'll take 3 arm circles. Inhale, sweep that arm alongside the ear. Lift it up, back, and around. Good. And inhale, sweep that arm alongside the ear. Exhale, up, back, and around. One more full circle. Inhale. Exhale, up, back, and around. And this time we'll inhale, reach the arm up. And as you exhale, we'll turn to the right. Hands lower down wherever they want to go. No pushing or forcing. As you inhale, allow your spine to grow taller. And as you exhale, navel softly draws in and up towards the spine. Inhaling. And exhaling, navel softly draws in and up. Just one more breath here. We'll take an inhale here. We'll stay in the twist. But as you exhale, very slowly unwind the gaze. We'll bring the gaze straight forward. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly unwind to center. So you unwind to center, sit up nice and tall. And then bring your hands to your navel. And then inhale, lift your heart up and walk your arms forward. Walk your arms forward. So coming into a forward fold might be really small. Never matters to me how far you fold. What matters to me is who you are when you get there. Breathe. And then as you inhale, lengthen your spine, gaze a little bit forward, and we'll walk the hands all the way up. We'll bring your hands behind you, lean back, stretch the legs forward. You might give the knees a little bit of a shake, and then we'll switch the crossing of the shins. So the other shin is forward. Take time to feel comfortable to sit tall. And once again, we'll bring the palms to stack. Maybe the other hand is on top. And we'll inhale, reach the arms open. Broaden your collarbones, hug your shoulder blades together. Stack your head right over your heart. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, hinge over to your left. Plant your hand down. Allow the opposite arm to reach in the opposite direction. And then very slowly, see what it feels like to bring that arm back just a little bit, and you can explore there. You might roll the gaze down at your bottom shoulder and keep the jaw relaxed. You might stay with this. You might slide that arm a bit diagonally towards the back right corner of your mat or your room. You can play with the height of the arm here. You might play with the rotation of the arm a bit. You might stay with this. The front of the shoulder is leaning to the back of the shoulder. Otherwise, let's take 3 big arm circles. So inhale, sweep that arm alongside the ear. Bring it up, back, and around. Good. Inhale. Exhale. One more full circle. Inhale. Exhale. And then we'll inhale, reach that arm up, 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 up. And as you exhale, we'll turn to the left. My hands rest wherever feels good. Good. As you inhale, sit up nice and tall, head stacking right over your heart. And as you exhale, navel softly draws in and up. 2 more breaths here. One more breath. Stay on the twist. Take a nice inhale here. Sit taller. As you exhale, just the gaze unwinds to center. And take an inhale here. And as you exhale, upper body unwinds. The low body stays nice and anchored. And once again, bring your fingers to your navel. We're going to inhale, lift your heart up, and walk your arms forward. Good. A little bit, a lot of bit, or not a bit. I'm staying pretty high on my fingertips here. Good. Breathe. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. We'll stay for the exhale. And then slowly walk yourself all the way up. Let's shift the shins to one side and make your way into a tabletop position, please. Hands and knees position on your yoga mat. Might feel good to arrive here and stretch one leg back at a time to release the backs of the legs a little bit here. Just an option. Settling into this shape. Wrists under your shoulders. Keep the index finger and thumb anchored, really all 10 fingers anchored, especially that index finger and thumb, but wrap the upper arm bones open. Good. Broaden your collarbones. Take a breath, take a nice inhale. Take a nice exhale, draw the navel softly towards your spine. Cat-cow. Inhale, drawing your heart forward. And exhale, round the spine, hollow out the low belly. Again, inhale, draw your heart forward, a little pause at the top. And exhale, round. Let's turn this into Chakravakasana. So inhale, drawing your heart forward. And exhale, hips to heels, child's pose, or moving in that direction. Hips don't have to touch. As you inhale, draw your heart forward, cow pose. As you exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. 2 more times. Inhale, drawing it forward. And exhale, round back. And one more time. Inhale, draw it forward. And this time, exhale, round it back and stay in child's pose. Knees wide, knees wide. Arms stretching forward. And as the arms stretch forward, gaze between your hands. Lengthen your sternum bone a little bit longer. And we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left arm, rolling onto your right cheek or temple. Your left hand might stay where it is, or you might plant the hand down. You might even wrap that arm around, finding a half bind. Just an option, just an option. Breathe. Just one more breath here. As you inhale, very slowly unwind. Lengthen your arms, lengthen your spine, gaze forward. And then we'll thread that left arm underneath your right arm. You can roll to your left cheek or temple. Once again, that right arm might stay forward. You might plant your hand. You might find a half bind here if that feels nourishing. Breathe. Just one more breath. And then as you inhale, slowly unwind. Let's inhale forward to a tabletop position, hands and knees position on the mat. Curl your toes under, walk your hands one handprint forward. Shift your shoulders right over your wrists. Roll the upper arm bones open, but keep the index finger and your thumb rooted to the earth. Keep the back of the neck long, and I want to give the option to lift your knees up here, so we're in a plank shape. We'll be here for 3 breaths. If the pelvis is sinking, lift your hips just a little bit higher. I don't mind if you soften your knees a little bit. Roll your inner thighs up, and then scoop the or lengthen the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. And as your heels reach towards the back of the room, you might even walk your toes in a little bit. As your heels reach towards the back of the room, lengthen the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Good. Take one more inhale here. And in one piece, exhale all the way to your belly. Maybe the knees lower down. All the way down you go. And we're going to come up to a Sphinx pose. So the elbows under your shoulders, forearms parallel. If your low back is feeling sensitive, widen your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. Press your toenails down. Hug your toenails up towards your hips. Something might happen in your low belly. Broaden your collarbones. And allow the shoulder blades to soften onto your back, towards your spine. Back of the neck nice and long. The hands are drawing back isometrically as the back of the heart lengthens forward. Now very slowly, take a little peek over your right shoulder. Be here for 5 breaths. If it feels too much, bring the gaze forward once again, totally fine. And really notice what you're gazing at through your eyes. Your eyes might fix on something in your space. Maybe the skin around your eyes softens a bit. One more breath. And then very slowly bring the head forward. And we're going to lower all the way down. We'll take a moment to rest. You can stack your hands under your forehead, wag your tailbone. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale back up to that Sphinx shape. And take time here to really broaden your collarbones. Shoulder blades soft, back of the neck long, and the head or the crown of the head is rising to the sky. And very slowly begin to bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Even lengthening the base of the skull up a little bit here. And breathe. As if the hairline can lengthen towards the ceiling. You might notice what you see in through your eyes. You might fix on a point or a color, softening the skin around your eyes, perhaps. One more breath. And then very slowly bring your gaze forward. We'll take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. And plant your hands alongside your shoulders or your chest. Inhale to a tabletop position, please. And exhale, child's pose. We'll keep a little movement. We'll come back to that Chakravakasana. So inhale, drawing your heart forward. Exhale, hips to heels. And just one more time, please. Inhaling, heart forward. Exhale, hips to heels. We'll stay here. Bring your palms all the way together, please. And bend your elbows so your fingertips face the ceiling. Bend your elbows so your fingertips face the ceiling. Roll the upper arm bones open. Allow your heart to soften here. And breathe. Unwind your arms, gaze between your hands, and inhale forward to a tabletop position. Curl your toes under, walk your hands about 2 inches forward. Bring the shoulders just behind the wrists. Take a nice inhale here. As you exhale, hover the knees about 1 inch off the earth, and then slide your hips up and back to dog. Keep the knees bent, keep the knees bent. Any low back itis is widen your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. As the knees are bent for now, reach the tops of your thigh bones up and back. Draw your front ribs towards your back ribs. Roll the upper arm bones open. and ground down in that index finger and thumb. You might pedal out your feet, reaching one heel down at a time. Good. And as you settle into your dog, finding a bit of stillness in the physical shape, feel free to keep the knees soft. Hearing that breath. And then keeping the knees soft, let's take a slow walk forward to the backs of your hands. We'll meet you in a forward fold. You might catch hold of opposite elbows here. You might even widen your feet a little wider. Allow the upper body to drape towards gravity. Maybe there's a little rocking or a little movement. You might switch the crossing of your elbows. Good. And then relax your arms all the way down to the earth. Soften your knees forward. Take an inhale, fill your back. And as you exhale, roll it up vertebrae by vertebrae. So the back of the head is the last to rise. And once it does, you might inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, lower your arms all the way down. Good, great. So feet about hip bone distance apart, finding Tadasana. If you practice big toes together, be my guest. So just the arms for now. As you inhale, reach your arms forward and up. We'll do a little arm exploration. Good. Exhale, arms forward and down. You might even soften the knees a little bit here. We'll do that once again. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, forward and down. We'll bring the arms to diagonals this time. So inhale diagonally. I call this Avita arms. Exhale, lower down. Good. Once again, inhale diagonally. Exhale, lower down. And now we'll bring the arms out like the letter T. So inhale, reach your arms up, parallel. You might look up. And as you exhale, lower the arms down. Allow the knees to soften a bit. Okay. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, soften. Good. Let's take some Surya A's. As you inhale, reach your arms up your favorite way. As you exhale, bow forward all the way down. You go. Knees might be soft. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands. And inhale, step back to plank pose, top of a push-up. Knees up or knees down, yogi's choice. Let's actually do this. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, let's all lower the knees. Bend your elbows, lower your chest, lower your chin. Widen your sitting bones. And then inhale, roll through to cobra pose. Toenails root down, elbows tack back. Base of the skull is lengthening. We'll take one more inhale. As you exhale, lower forward and down. We'll inhale, tabletop position once again. Curl your toes under, reach your hips up and back, downward facing dog. 5 breaths in your dog. Recognizing this is your practice. If you want to lower your knees down and come into puppy dog, that is always available for you. Or child's pose, if that feels more like resting. Good. Karen, what would it feel like to gaze between your thumbs and lengthen your sternum bone or the top of your chest a little longer without coming forwards or not coming into that plank? The heart or the top of the chest is lengthening. Good, great. So we're taking some of the roundedness out of your upper back. Great, perfect. Soften your knees. Gaze between your hands. Bottom of your next exhale, stepping or perhaps floating forward to the top of your yoga mat. On an inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold. Let's do that one more time. So as you inhale, lengthen your spine. We're going to stay here for your exhale. Draw your navel towards your spine. Reach your arms out like the letter T. Keep the back of the neck long. And inhale, come all the way up to stand. Arms might reach, palms might press. And we'll exhale, hands to your heart this time. Samastitihi. Good. As you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, bow forward, all the way down you go. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. As you inhale, plank pose, opposite leg leads. And once again, as you exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest, lower your chin. Keep the collarbones broad, elbows tapping back, widen your sitting bones. And then inhale, roll through to cobra. And exhale, lower forward and down. Curl your toes under, just an option to lift your knees up. As you inhale, either plank pose or tabletop position, your choice. Exhale, up and back, downward facing doggy, please. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Good. As you inhale, breathe your right leg up and back. And slow motion, exhale, step the foot all the way through. If it doesn't make it, give it help. You're human. We're going to lower that back knee down. If you need to pad the knee, please pad the knee. Draw your sternum bone forward. And we'll heel toe this right foot about 6 inches to the right. Walking your hands or maybe blocks inside that foot, your choice. And let's find a little gentle movement as we ease into psoas a bit here. So as you inhale, we'll draw the hips back just a little bit. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone under, wave your heart forward. We'll do that again. Inhale, draw it back a little bit. And as you exhale, wave your heart forward. And one more time, inhale, draw it back. As you exhale, wave your heart forward. We'll stay right here. We'll turn this into a twist. So bringing your left hand to the edge of your yoga mat. And let's bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. And take an inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, press your right palm down, turn your heart to the sky. We'll keep the hand where it is for now. Broaden your collarbones. Find a little cobra in your upper back. You might even lean the corners of your neck back. You might stay here or reach your arm to the sky. As the collarbones broaden, you might stay here. You might take a little peek down at your bottom hand thumb and float your back knee up. Just an option. Hug the inner thighs together. Maybe the gaze rolls to the side. Or maybe the gaze lifts up to your top hand thumb. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, lower your right hand all the way down. We'll heel toe that right foot back to that runner's lunge. If your back knee is down, we'll go ahead and lift it up. And we'll send this right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Three-legged dog. Hopefully feels really yummy right about now. You might bend that right knee. Might feel good to stack that hip. You might circle that ankle. And then when you're ready, re-square that leg, re-square the hip. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, set the foot down. And we'll set the knees down. Child's pose, please. You might circle your wrists. meet you in downward facing dog when you're ready. When you're ready. As you inhale, breathe your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step that foot all the way through. We'll lower that back knee down, draw your sternum bone forward. Feel free to elevate your hands to blocks here. And then we'll heel toe that left foot about 6 inches to the left. Walking your hands or blocks inside that foot. Keep the shin hugging in. I don't mind if the toes pivot out just a tiny little bit. I just don't want the leg completely dropping out here. We'll find a little gentle movement here. So as you inhale, draw the hips back a little bit here. And as you exhale, curl your tailbone under, ripple your heart forward. Good. Again, inhale, draw it back. And exhale, ripple your heart forward. And one more time, inhale, draw it back. And exhale, ripple your heart forward. We'll stay here. Collarbones are broad. We'll turn this into a twist. So your right hand will plant on the edge of your mat. Your left hand finds the top of your left thigh. We'll take an inhale together. And as you exhale, press your palm down, turn your heart to the left. We'll take a little pause here. Broaden your collarbones. Find a little cobra in your upper back, lean back. And then maybe that arm reaches up. Okay. Keep the collarbones broadening, just an option to take a little peek down at the earth. And maybe your back knee lifts. Doesn't have to. Hug your inner thighs together. Bring your gaze to the side if that's you. Maybe. Or you can keep the gaze down if you like. Maybe the gaze rolls up. Good. Beautiful. Take one more inhale here. Reach up more. As you exhale, plant that left hand all the way down. We'll heel toe this left foot back to that runner's lunge. That back knee will lift if it's down. And we'll send this left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Might feel good to bend that knee, stack that hip. You might circle your ankle. And then we'll re-square that leg, re-square the hip. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, lower the foot down. Lower the knees down. Child's pose, please. And circling your wrists. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bottom of your next exhale, stepping or floating forward to the top of your yoga mat. As you inhale, halfway rise. As you exhale, fold. And this time, reverse swan dive. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Samastitihi. And take an inhale through your nose. Out the mouth, let it go. One more time, nice inhale through the nose. Out the mouth, let it go. Good. From here, we'll take a nice wide step open on our mat lengthwise. We'll bring the wrists under your shoulders. Good. Turn your palms open. Melt your shoulder blades onto your back. And we'll turn the palms forward. Bring the left arm on top. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug. You might bend your knees here generously. You might deepen your groins here. As you give yourself a hug, you might stay right here or come into your expression of eagle. Maybe the palms come together or the backs of the hands come together. Good. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Head right over your heart. And lifting and lengthening from your heart to the crown of your head. Good. Now listen carefully. Deep within the hip socket, we'll pivot the right toes forward and your left toes slightly forward. Heel to arch alignment. Take a nice inhale when you're ready. And as you exhale, bend the front knee forward. So it's Vira 2, Warrior 2 in your low body, and Eagle in your upper body, right? You might take a little peek at your front knee. Make sure it's right over the ankle. You might widen it a little bit towards the pinky edge side of the foot. That right buttocks flesh wrapping under. That left thigh bone leaning back enough that you can root the outer foot down. And breathe, gazing right between your wrists. Good. One more breath. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, unwind your arms, Warrior 2. Might feel surprisingly good right about now. Might not. Gazing right out over your front middle finger. Take a nice inhale here. As you exhale, side angle pose. Forearm to your thigh. You might sweep that left arm alongside the ear. Good, beautiful. Good. You're always welcome to slide this hand down to the block or the floor. Or lately I've been playing with holding on to my ankle and really drawing the skin of the ankle up. Just an option, just an option. Really rooting that back foot down, stretch longer to your fingertips. And as you inhale here, notice your belly expanding. And as you exhale, navel towards your spine, stretch longer in all directions. Good. Again, inhale, allow that belly to expand. And as you exhale, navel draws in and up, expand out in all directions. Just one more breath here. Good. Reach that top arm to the sky, take a peek down. On an inhale, Warrior 2. Good. We'll straighten that front knee. Bring your hands to your hips. Parallel your feet. You might narrow your stance a little bit. As your elbows tack back, take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. As you exhale, bow forward. Hands to the earth. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. I want to give the option to stay here or bring your hands or your peace fingers around the big toes, yogi toe lock. Inhale, grow longer. And as you exhale, bow in. Elbows widening, if that's you. Elbows widening towards the side walls. You can even do this holding onto your ankles as well, just an option. Shoulder blades are shrugging up and onto the back. There's freedom in your head and your neck. Good. Releasing the big toes, hands right under your shoulders. As you inhale, halfway rise. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Bend your knees enough that your spine can lengthen parallel to the earth. And inhale, rise. Good. Exhale at the top. You might re-widen your stance. Stretch your arms out, ankles underneath your wrists. Roll the palms open. Melt the shoulder blades onto your back. Turn your palms forward. Take a nice inhale. We'll bring the right arm on top. Give yourself a hug. Good. You might root your feet, bend your knees. You might deepen your groins a little bit here. You might stay right here or coming into your expression of eagle. Your expression of eagle. Good. Maybe the elbows scoop in line with your shoulders. Head in line with your heart. And lifting and lengthening from your heart to the crown of your head. Good. And now deep within the hip socket, we'll pivot the left toes forward. And your right toes slightly forward, heel to arch. We'll take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bend your front knee forward. And if you need or want to take a little peek at it, you certainly can. Keeping that knee tracking right over the ankle. That left buttocks flesh is wrapping under. Right thigh bone is leaning back enough that the outer foot roots. Let's take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, unthread your arms, reach them out. Warrior 2, 3 breaths. Collarbones are broad. Shoulder blades draw towards one another, gazing right out over your front middle finger. And take a nice inhale. As you exhale, side angle pose, maybe forearm to thigh. You might sweep that right arm alongside the ear. Good. Once again, option to bring the hand to the floor or block. If you're playing today, you might hold on to the ankle just for fun. You certainly don't have to. If that's you, really draw the skin of the ankle up. And as you inhale here, allow your belly to expand. As you exhale, navel draws in and up, expanding out in all directions. Take 2 more breaths like that. Good. And 1 more breath. Good. Reach that top arm to the sky. Take a peek down. On an inhale, warrior 2. Straighten that front knee. Bring your hands to your hips. Parallel your feet. You might heel toe your feet a little bit closer. Good. And this time, let's interlace your fingers behind you. I'm also a huge fan of using a strap here, so that is always welcome, or you might even hold on to your shirt. Roll the shoulders up, back and onto your back. Take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. As you exhale, bow forward. Maybe the knuckles lift. Maybe the palms come together. Feel free to change what needs to be changed. Knees might stay generously bent, or you might begin to lift the fronts of the legs up. Root the backs of the legs down, without compromising your upper body. Breathe. And then slowly lower your hands to your low back. Slide them down the sides of the legs, right under your shoulders. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, spine nice and long. And inhale, come all the way up to stand. Good. Stretch your arms open. And either hop or heel toe your feet all the way together. I apologize for all the cats today. And shake it out. Let's do a little balancing. So if you need a wall or a chair, please bring yourself closer to a chair or a wall. We'll root the feet down. Bring your hands to your hips. Shift your weight into your right foot. And then bend your left knee. You might reach around for the outer foot. Good. If your shoulder is rounding forward, you might even loop that shoulder head open. And the first thing I want you to do is bring the knees a little more parallel, deepen your groins, and then lengthen the flesh of the buttocks towards that knee. Reach your right arm to the sky. Good. And all we're going to do here is lengthen the kneecap down and reach your fingertips up. If this feels a bit too much, you can simply, I'll turn to the side, you can simply either hold on to the wall or a chair and flex that back foot. Totally cool. Totally cool. Good. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly bring the knee through center. We'll catch the back of the thigh. Allow the thigh to soften into your hands. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, set the foot down, arms down. Shake out anything that needs shaking. Good. And then we'll do the other side. So shift the weight into your left foot, bend your right knee. You might simply flex the foot behind you or reach back, catch the outer edge of the foot. Notice if that shoulder is deeply rounding. So if that's you, roll that shoulder head open, parallel the knees, deepen your groins for a moment, and then lengthen the flesh of your buttocks towards the backs of your knees and reach your arm to the sky. Good. As your arm reaches up, lengthen that kneecap down. Breathe. And try not to lock out your standing knee. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly bring that knee through. Catch the back of the thigh. Press the thigh into your hands, stand up a little bit taller. Good. And we'll exhale, set the foot down, arms down. Shake out anything that needs shaking. Good. And then we'll play with that a little more. We'll add on, preparing for dancer pose. So when you're ready, shift the weight into your right foot. And once again, same thing, bend your left knee, the foot might stay flexed, or you might reach around, catch the outer foot. Keep rolling that shoulder head open. You might inhale that arm to the sky. Take a nice inhale here, kick the foot into the hand. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward. I like to turn my palm down, just an option. Hug your inner thighs together. Keep lengthening the flesh of the buttocks towards the back of the knee as the back of the heart lengthens forward. Try not to lock out your weight-bearing knee. Good. Beautiful. And when you're ready, slow and controlled. Bend that standing knee. Bring that knee through. Catch the back of the thigh. You might stay here. You might reach the leg forward. You might point your toes. You might reach the arms up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, lower the arms. Shake out anything that needs shaking. That was fun. I like to, in my dancer pose, bring my middle finger and thumb together. It's a heart mudra, just an option. Let's take the second side. So bring the hands to the hips. Let's start a little different. Find a focal point, find a drishti. Shift the weight into your left foot. Bend your right knee. You might stay here flexing the foot. You might reach back for the outer foot. Your left arm might reach to the sky. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, kick the foot into the hand. Maybe you hinge forward. Maybe that palm turns down. Just an option. Your standing knee is soft. Hug your inner thighs together. And as the flesh of the buttocks lengthens towards that back knee, you reach the back of the heart forward. Beautiful. Good. And then when you're ready, slow and controlled, inhale, bring that leg through. Catch the back of the thigh, press the thigh bone down, stand up a little taller. You might stay here, you might reach the leg. You might point your toes, try not to lift that left hip up, so wrap that that right hip down. Maybe the arms reach up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, lower the arms. Beautiful. Shake out anything that needs shaking. That was fun. Maybe. Let's come to the back of your yoga mat. Let's come to the back of your yoga mat. Feet about hip bone distance. And take a moment here. Let's bring one hand to your low belly, one hand to your heart. And come back to your breath. Notice if your heart is beating quickly. So if it is, take a nice inhale. And out the mouth, let it go. Let's add a little sound, an M descending sound. Take a nice inhale when you're ready. Do that again. Nice inhale. Good. One resting breath. Unwind your arms. As you inhale, reach your arms up, please. As you exhale, bow forward, all the way down you go. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold. And this time, inhale, lengthen, walk forward to downward facing doggy, please. Downward facing dog. On an inhale, come forward to plank pose. Knees up or knees down. And as you exhale, lower all the way to your belly. All the way down you go. So the first thing we'll do here is stack your hands under your forehead. We'll grow the legs a little bit longer, so you might curl your right toes under. Pick up your right knee, press out through your right heel. Lower the knee, flatten the foot. And then other side, curl your left toes under. Pick up your left knee, press out to the heel. Lower the knee, flatten the foot. You might do that one more time each side. And then we'll bring the forehead down. And for today, let's bring the arms down alongside the body. If you like to interlace on your low back, be my guest. Otherwise, the arms are alongside the hips. Thumbs are grazing the floor. And the fingers are together like little fins. Broaden your collarbones. Lift the front of the shoulders to the backs of the shoulders. Take a breath, please. Root your pubic bone down. And inhale, upper body lifts. So your low body is heavy. Upper body is lengthening. Hug your shoulder blades together. Maybe the arms lift. Imagine you're squeezing a beach ball between your palms. And then lift the upper arm bones up more. Forearms up more. Reach the beach ball back more. Back of the heart forward more. And breathe. Soften your skin a bit. Take one more inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, lower and rest on a cheek. And wag your hips. And then we'll add on, so forehead down. Arms alongside the hips. If you interlaced, you might interlace the other way. Once again, broaden your collarbones. Lift the fronts of the shoulders to the backs of the shoulders. Take a breath. Navel draws in and up as you exhale. As you inhale, upper body lifts. Upper body lifts. Shoulder blades hug. Maybe the arms lift. And then grow your legs so long that maybe they lift up. Instead of thinking about lifting them up-er, think about lengthening them longer. Breathe. I like to spread the toes wide. Take a nice inhale when you're ready. Exhale, lower and rest. Other cheek. You might wag your hips a little bit from side to side. And I want to give the option of repeating either of those variations. We'll set up for Dhanurasana. So bringing your forehead down, bending your knees and reaching back for the outer edges of your feet. You can also loop a strap around your feet as well, just an option. Knees parallel, they might be all the way together. Keep the collarbones broad, front of the shoulders to the back of the shoulders. Take a breath, please. Stay for your exhale, navel softly draws in and up. Kick your feet into your hands, inhale, rise up. Lengthening from the backs of your knees to your armpits. From the base of the skull to the base of the tailbone. From the tailbone to the base of the skull. Maybe your thigh bones lift. Imagine you can lengthen the hairline up more. When you're done, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, lower. All the way down and rest. Oh, goodness. You might wag your hips. You might bend your knees and wag your shins from side to side if that feels good. Moving really slowly, we'll plant the hands alongside the chest or the shoulders. Very slowly press back to child's pose. Knees wide. Knees wide. We'll rest here. You might stay here. You might bring your palms together once again, just for an option. Bending your elbows, fingers might face the ceiling. Or this time you might bring your palms between your shoulder blades. You're welcome to separate your hands. You might even walk your elbow joints a little bit forward like they were little crab claws. And breathe. Okay. Unwind your arms. Slide your hands back and round yourself up to sit, please. Good. And I want to come into a comfortable seat for a little neck release. So seat of your choice, maybe it's Sukhasana. I like to release my neck in a modified Virasana, sitting on a block. But if your quadriceps have had enough of this shape, come into Sukhasana. Totally fine. I just want you to be able to have a nice tall spine, so your hips above your knees. Support wherever needs a little supporting here. Good. And allow your arms to relax down. If they don't touch the earth, bring the earth up to meet them. Find some blocks or blankets. And stack your head right over your heart. Take a nice inhale here, sit taller. As you exhale, right ear, right shoulder, right ear, right shoulder. You might reach your left arm out to the left and just allow gravity to ease it down. As that arm reaches down, this might be plenty, or you might drape that left arm on the ear or the temple and breathe. Now, as we breathe here, we're going to work a little bit differently. So gazing through the very center of your pupil, so gazing straight forward. And before we do anything, just think about the ceiling right over your left ear. Just think about the ceiling right over your left ear. And very slowly bring your gaze there, right at the ceiling, just over your left ear. And breathe. It might look like you're in deep thought. And then slowly bring the gaze back to neutral, gazing to the center of your pupils. Bring your top hand to your bottom temple. Inhale, lift the head up. Exhale, lower the arm down. We'll take a little pause here. You might even take a nice inhale. You might sigh or make that M sound. One more resting breath here. Sitting up nice and tall. When you're ready, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, other side, left ear, left shoulder. Basic rule of thumb, if it feels familiar, it probably is. You might reach your right arm out. And just allow gravity to ease it down. As that arm reaches down, maybe that left arm drapes on the ear or the temple. And as we breathe here, just gazing to the very center of your pupils with soft eyes. Jaws relaxed. And just think about the ceiling over your right ear. Just think about it. And then when you're ready, very slowly bring your gaze at the ceiling over your right ear. And jaw stays relaxed. Good. And then bring your gaze back to neutral. Bring your top hand to your bottom temple. Inhale, float the head up. Exhale, relax the arm. And let's take a cleansing breath. Nice inhale when you're ready. And out the mouth, let it go. Let's make that M sound. Okay. When you're ready, we'll move that support, if you have it, to the side. Stretch your legs forward, shake out your knees. If you know you like a strap or need a strap for forward folds, you might have a strap nearby. Otherwise, sitting up nice and tall here, you might even sit on a blanket for support. Bring your hands to the back of your right knee. And we'll come into Janu Shirshasana A, so bringing the sole of the foot to that inner thigh. And I think for today, we'll bring your left hand thumb into your left hip crease or groin. And let's inhale your right arm to the sky. As you exhale, turn towards that leg and lower that right arm down wherever it wants to go, on the thigh or the shin, just not on the knee. As you inhale, widen your hands apart, draw your heart forward. And as you exhale, soften in. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, widen your hands apart, draw your heart forward. Exhale, soften in. And 1 more time, please. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, softening and stay. Hands might stay here. You might catch hold of your foot or your strap or your right wrist. And breathe. Good. Once again, never matters to me how far you fold. If it serves you better to sit up taller and lengthen your spine longer, it's technically a different posture, but I want you to honor what works best in your body. What do you need in this moment? Good. With your next inhale, gaze forward. Stay for the exhale. And inhale, come all the way up. We'll support the knee, reach the leg forward, give the knees a little bit of a shake. And then coming back to that Dandasana staff pose, make sure you can sit up nice and tall. And we'll go right to the second side today. So support the back of the left knee. And we'll bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, setting up for Janu Shirshasana A. Right hand thumb into your right hip crease. As you inhale, reach your left arm to the sky. And as you exhale, turn your navel towards that leg, lower that arm wherever it wants to go, just not on the knee. As you inhale, widen your hands apart, draw your heart forward. And as you exhale, bow in. So left hand to that right shin or thigh. Inhale, lifting and lengthening. You might even find a foot. Exhale, softening in. And 1 more time, inhale, think Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold and surrender. You might unwind your arms, you might catch the foot, a strap, your left wrist. And once again, if it feels like you're sinking into your organs, sit up a little bit taller. Good. With your next inhale, gaze forward. Stay for an exhale. And inhale, come all the way up. We'll stretch both legs forward, shake out your knees. And then once again, finding Dandasana, staff pose. And make sure you can sit up nice and tall here. So you might soften your knees, you might sit on a blanket. Plant your hands down, root your low body down. Reach the crown of the head to the sky. Paschimottanasana. As you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, hinge forward. As you inhale, gaze forward, lengthen forward. And as you exhale, surrender. You might hold your strap, your feet. Block. Sit taller. Breathe. With your next inhale, gaze forward. Stay for an exhale. And inhale, come all the way up. Bend the knees, scoot yourself forward. Make sure there's plenty of room behind you to roll back. And your favorite way, I'll show you my favorite way. We'll anchor the feet down. You can always bring the hands behind you or interlace the fingers. Press your palms forward. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep pressing your palms forward. Halfway down, gaze at your navel. You're welcome to catch your thighs. And once you arrive, reach your palms back. Stretch your legs long. Stretch, yawn, wiggle. And then separate your arms either shoulders distance, or you might bend your elbows like the letter T. And then one knee at a time, bend your knees. Lengthen your tailbone just a little bit longer towards the top edge of your yoga mat, and bring your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. And bring your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, both knees to the right, and we'll stay here. If it feels better to windshield wiper back and forth, be my guest. Flesh the buttocks, lengthening a bit towards the back of that left knee. If you'd like more sensation, flex your right foot, your bottom foot, and stack that foot on the top of your left thigh. And then see what it feels like to slide your arms back. You might catch hold of opposite elbows here. Allowing your left ribs to melt back, left shoulder back. Breathe. Not forcing or pushing. If that bottom foot feels too much, set it back down, totally fine. I like to lengthen my left kneecap just a little bit energetically longer. If that foot is on top, very slowly release it. When you're ready, we'll inhale back to center. We'll stay here for a breath. You might re-lengthen your tailbone. You might separate your arms or cross them the other way if you like. We'll take a nice inhale, and then we'll exhale, other side. Flesh the buttocks, lengthening towards the back of your right knee. For more sensation, flex that left foot and ankle and cross that foot on top of your right thigh. And keep rolling your right ribs back. Maybe your arms reach back. Maybe you catch hold of opposite elbows here. And breathe. Right kneecap lengthening a bit energetically longer. One more breath. If that foot is on top, very slowly release it. Allow an inhale to lift your knees up. And we'll give the knees a good hug, a good squeeze. And bring the hands to the kneecaps. Just to make sure the low back is nice and happy, let's find some apanasanas. Inhale, knees move forward, arms lengthen. Exhale, bend your elbows, hug your knees in. Do that a few more times. Inhale, knees forward. Exhale, draw them in. Maybe one more time. As you draw the knees in, give the knees a final hug, a good squeeze. If it feels good to curl up into a tight little ball, honor that. Relaxing your head back and taking your time to find Shavasana. If there's a gentle inversion in your practice or an inversion that is part of your practice, shoulder stand or Vipariti Karani, honor that. As long as it's calming, cooling, quieting. And as you arrive back into final relaxation, let's do a sensing through the body from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. Noticing if you're holding or gripping anywhere at all. And if you are, take a nice inhale, draw it up. And out the mouth, let it go. You might do that one more time. And rest. Little space in the back teeth. Inner ears are broadening. The skin around the eyes is softening. And the skin of the forehead is relaxing down towards the nose. And for today, I will leave you here resting in Shavasana.